Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook platforms. I'm T. Clay, and walk with me. We're walking through the book of Jubilees. Yes, the book of Jubilees. Yes, it is sometimes called the Little Genesis. But first, let us pray the prayer of Abram, the one whom God hath chose over many to have him as the apple of his eye, even the one who he has chosen to inherit all things. He said, deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts. And let them not lead me astray from thee, my God, my power. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. That's Jubilee chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, we thank God for our father Abraham, even he who prayed and have even excited God over his prayer of faith, his prayer of confidence in the Most High, that there is only one God. And this has been the basis of the book of Enoch, one God. See, you got all these other religions with many gods and all kind of spirits and things, and people have taken to these things. Now, these are the last days also. And these spirits have projected themselves as God. And as I said before, their sole purpose is to dethrone God in your heart. Abraham's prayer was what? That we not go astray henceforth what? From knowing that here, O Jacob, thy God is one God. Yes, here. He's only one. There is no one beside him, above him, or below him. There are many below him, and many have set themselves up as God. We deal with the spirit world. This is why you got these Egyptologists and those who come up with many books, and they have all these spirits and things. These are real. Those people, those entities that they mention in the books, yes, they're real. I give them that. They're real. But they set themselves up to lead man astray from the Most High. When you are led, and those of you that are led away by spirits, by what you think is power, see, they've given them languages and told them things. Just they did the same thing, mimicking what the angels did with Moses and the angels did with with Noah and all the rest of them. Even what you would call the gods of Egypt. They set themselves up as gods, these devils, and even those gods of Greek and Roman mythology. These have come into dreams and images of man, and they put themselves in the likeness of the people that they come to. And man is deceived greatly. And for this reason, the wrath of the Most High is about to be stepped up. The wrath of the Most High is about to be, in an area that we think that this is not God. This is something else. Oh, you're about to see, dear humanoid. Yes, you're about to see that God doesn't play with you. You're just flesh, just like I am. We're flesh. We die, we breathe. We're born. Or should I say we die again. In between that, what have you done lately before the Most High that is right in his sight? All right. Now, into the book of Jubilees, my friend. We're into the book of Jubilees, and we're into the book of Jubilees chapter 14. Yes, chapter 14. Yes, and we shall start reading. Yes, we will. After these things, in the 4th year of this week, on the new moon of the 3rd month, the word of the I Am came to Abraham in a dream, saying that this is how evil spirits mimic also. He's not talking about Jesus. No, just because he said the word of the I Am came to him in a dream. No, he's not talking about Jesus. No. Get out of your mindset. Matter of fact, that's the mindset of those who enslaved you. But anyway, the new moon, which is the darkness coming, the sun, the moon coming out of the darkness, showing a little light, and it begins to progress into a full moon, and then it digresses back into darkness, and it gets dimmer and dimmer until it's reborn again, according to the book of Enoch. You need to read that book. It's the first book of Enoch. Yes, the first book of Enoch. I don't know about the other books, but that first one is really good. I mean, it's cohesion with even the law of Moses and with the things of the book of Genesis. Yes, and it gets into how they got many of their sayings throughout the Bible from, should I say, from movies to, should I say, even New Testament sayings. Many. They did not mention the book of Enoch, but if you read it, you'll see where those sayings come from. Now, he came to Abram in a dream saying, "Fear not, Abram, I am thy defender." I mean, after the prayer of 12:20, he come back and said, "I am thy defender." It's something when God is your defender, when God dispatches angels out to defend you in the midst of, he will send enemies against you just to demonstrate who he is. And thy reward will be exceeding great, is what he says, verse 2. And he said, "Lord, Lord," or my God, "what wilt thou give me, seeing I go hence childless? And the son of Mesech, the son of my handmaid, is in Damascus, Eliezer. He will be my heir, and to me thou hast given no seed." In other words, he's saying, he's going to be my surrogate. I'm going to be his stepdaddy. No, God is better than that. And he said unto him, "This man will not be thy heir, but one that will come out of thine own bowels." He's not talking about dung or booty. He's talking about your inner parts. "Will be thine heir." And he brought him forth abroad and said unto him, "Look forth to heaven and number the stars, that thou be able to number them." And he looked toward heaven and beheld the stars, and he said unto him, "So shall thy seed be." And he believed in the I am, and it was counted to him for righteousness. See, that's just one thing. When you believe something, you're going to follow it, you're going to do it. You're going to adhere to it because you fear that this thing is real, or you respect that it's real, and that the person who promised or this thing is not playing. So it was counted to him for righteousness because he believed. See, there's more to that than just the word belief. And he said unto him, "I am that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee the land of the Canaanites, to possess it forever, that I shall be God unto thee and to thy seed after thee." See, Abraham didn't know that what Canaan had did, the sin of Canaan. Some of your parents have been colonizers, and all you know is that they went and took over a land, and then, the Catholic called itself, or should I say the Pope, called itself giving them all the go-ahead to take over the land just like their Israel, but he did not know the fact that he was used as a tool of dishonor before the Most High. Now, to these things to thy seed after thee. And he said, "I am my God. Whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it?" And he said, "Did he take me an heifer of 3 years, and a goat of 3 years, and sheep of 3 years, and a turtle dove, and a pigeon?" He wasn't a priest. "And he took all these in the middle of the month, and he dwelt at an oak in Mamre, which is near Hebron. And he built there an altar, and sacrificed all these, and poured their blood upon the altar, and divided them in the midst, and laid them over against each other. But the birds divided he not." In other words, according to Moses, the law that the angel had given to Moses, God commanded him he should not divide the birds, but he should split it. See, this is where this come from. In other words, just like you divide a chicken, he just says, just split it down the breast, open it up, take its innards, put it somewhere, even the blood, sprinkle it around the altar, and burn it. Yes. And praise and glorify the Most High. Yes. And the birds came down upon the pieces, and Abraham drove them away and did not suffer the birds to touch them. I'm in verse 12. And it came to pass when the sun had set that an ecstasy fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. And it was said to Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they will bring them into bondage and afflict them 400 years. Now, this is not meaning what people think it means. It didn't mean from the day one they went and captured the people of Abram, or should I say Jacob, without the J, Jacoby. They did not just go and capture them. They came, even as you hear the story of Joseph and all, they came and they was in the land of Goshen, and the Egyptians and those children of Jacob or Jacoby were getting along just fine until a king that did not know Joseph. So therefore, somewhere between there and then, they were stricken to bondage. Now, they were there 400 years, but all of it wasn't hard labor. They served the Egyptians, yes, they did. They served them in that they were farmers. They raised cattle and cows and all that. And we most know that they had to even sell some to the Egyptian or even give it to them to the kings. Yes. Now, 14. And the nation also to whom they will be in bondage shall I judge. After that they will come forth thence with much substance. In other words, he's saying your seed is going to go through a dark time. Why, you say? Why? Why were you carried by ships? And some of you that were here in the land, your ancestors were here in the United States, and some of you were carried by ships, and some of you even still were enslaved on the continent of Africa, and some of you were carried into South America, and then next thing you know, you find out that, why? Idolatry, period. Most of it was idolatry. Idolatry is the preamble to any fleshly sin that you can ever commit. Adultery, fornication, stealing, because it separates you from your God, and it causes you to want those things of the flesh, because you are serving God. You are serving what you would call a God with your eyes. For the eyes of man are never satisfied. No, never satisfied. You see, you want. Even Jude talk about it. You ask for it, and you ask amiss, because you ask upon what? Your inordinate desire. It's out of order. Come on here. Now, when thou go to thy fathers in peace, and be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they will return hither, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Yes. And he awoke out of his sleep, and he arose, and the sun had set, in verse 17, and there was a flame, and behold, a furnace was a smoking, and a flame of fire passed between the pieces. In other words, here is a fire. I mean, this is weird. I mean, you got a dancing flame that just goes between the pieces of the birds that he laid on the altar or on the sacrifice. And on that day, the I Am made a covenant with Abraham. To thy seed will I give this land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Rephaim, and the Paroklites, and the Hivites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Girgasites, and the Jebusites. Yes, when you look at it, yes, it's that whole land of what you call Arabia. If you're going to go by their map, their whatever they pronounce as their map, the river Euphrates is all the way north from where he was. It was northeast from where he was. And the fact is that you have an entity today who wants to claim all that, even though they know that they are not the seed of Abram. No, because that land had been revoked from Jacob. even the children of Jacob. Yes. And 19, the day passed, and Abram offered the pieces and the birds and their fruit offering and their drink offerings, and the fire devoured them. Now you got to realize that land is going to be desolate again. Yes, understanding what the Most High is about to do, that land is about to be desolate. There will be no one there. No one, but yet even the poor of the land. Desert. Some of it even maybe contaminated. But the fact is that God is going to give his people back what is theirs. Now, it might not be that place, but that land there, because they claim a land that wasn't theirs from the get-go. Both entities. God is going to do his bidding, his own bidding, because he's God by himself. And on that day we made a covenant with Abram, according to as we had covenanted with Noah in this month. And Abram renewed the festival and ordinance for himself forever. Now, who appointed Abram? What man appointed Abram like this? See, many of you, we have established institutions and people and things where your authority does not come from God. You preach not by the authority of the Most High, but you preach according to the authority of men. You come about taking things and claiming things in the authority of men and not in the authority of God. This is evil. You get churches and you start out with a big following, and you get your organs and your followings and all the lights. See, people are walking by their eyes. That's idolatry. When you follow a man because of all the lights and brights and the theatrics and all these things, you're an idolatry. I'm sorry, you're an idolater. You're walking by your eyes in the light of the Bible. Some of you are you're insincere in your heart, but you're still walking in idolatry. That doesn't excuse you. Now, let us continue. He said, in day passed, and Abraham offered the pieces and the birds of the, let's keep going, 20. And the day we made a covenant with Abraham, according to as he had covenanted with Noah in this month. And Abraham renewed the festival and ordinance for himself forever. In other words, the sacrifice. And Abraham rejoiced. And Abraham made all these things known to Sarah his wife, and he believed that he would have seed, but she did not bear. Test. And Sarah advised her husband Abraham and said unto him, go in unto Hagar, my Egyptian maid, and it may be that I shall build up seed unto thee by her. And Abraham hearkened unto the voice of Sarai, his wife, and said unto her, do so. And Sarah took Hagar, her maid, an Egyptian, and gave her to Abraham and her husband to be his wife. And he went in unto her. Now, you have to realize, even when we talk about polygyny, yes, in that time it was to have more seed. It was to have, and also it was polygyny. Another thing about polygyny is family. Women are more family oriented and they're more so to share than a man will. A man is like a lion. Women are like the lioness. If you want to know more about polygyny, and watch The Lion and the Lioness. It's not that the man going to rule them with a rod of iron and all this stuff. It's the fact that family, children, community, in the light of that man who has shown himself to be wise and merciful. Yes. And he went unto her, and she conceived and bare him a son, and called his name Ishmael, in the 5th year of this week. And this was the 86th year in the life of Abram. And with that, we're going to say peace. Yeah.